those trees that we had outside inside because it's starting to get a little chilly outside. I still have the lime tree that we planted a couple weeks ago still outside, along with several pineapple tops. So we'll bring those in eventually. As a matter of fact, I'll probably bring them in today. I'm gonna go back by Lowe's today. I need some more saucers for my pots. And if you don't know what a saucer is, a saucer just sits at the bottom of a pot, and when you water it, it catches the water and holds it. And that little dollar contraption helps in so many ways. I have never used them, never even thought about them, didn't even really know they existed. But they are amazing, amazing. Keeps your plants and keeps your trees hydrated, which is important. They have to be hydrated. What else about growing trees? I choose to grow many because I learned a little while ago that many hands make light work. And the way I feel about these trees, many trees produce many fruit. I mean, it's okay to have one tree, but having several of the same tree, in my opinion, that's much better. Now, we've been on this series of what if there is no food shortage, and what if everything we've been talking about is just bunk and not true? Well, what if? And what if you go out here and you go spend, $20, $40, $80, $100 on a tree, and you put it in the ground and it starts producing and all that good stuff, and there's never a food shortage? Or you go out like me and you buy 20 something trees and there's never a food shortage. Well, guess what? You're going to be the coolest person on the block. Number one, you're going to always have fruit that you don't have to go buy. Number one. And number two, you can always bless your neighbors. You can bless your neighbors with fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. How about that? And if you really get into it like I have, you can learn how to take cuttings off of your trees, produce more trees, and maybe, just maybe, you'll bless your neighborhood. And you'll give your neighborhood some trees, and those trees will start fruiting. Or just maybe, think about this, maybe you get to the point where you get good at growing cuttings, and they start producing, and guess what? Let's say there's never a food shortage. Let's say there's never a food crisis, and let's say that SHTF never happens. And you've done all this work, and you got 80, 100, 120 trees that you've created from cuttings. Guess what you can do? You can then turn and sell those trees yourself. List them on Craigslist. List them on Let Go. Be like, hey, I got a Gala apple tree, 2 years old, $100, or whatever you list for, $89.99. You'll have somebody come by and be like, hey, I'll give you $89 for that tree. So the reason why I wanted to come in and share with you about growing fruit trees is because there's really no downside. Okay? And right now, it is the fall season is here. Trees have come into nurseries. I know I've seen them at Lowe's. I'm not sure about Home Depot. I don't go to them that often. But I know for a fact that fall trees are here. Please, sir, please, man, go get you one or two or whatever you can afford. We always try to tell you guys we're gonna teach you how to prep on a budget, and we're gonna teach you a common sense approach, and we're gonna make it fun. I'm gonna tell you what's not gonna be fun. What's not gonna be fun 3, 4, 5 years from now, if we are really in a food crisis and the temperature has changed to the point where no one can grow food, and you don't have anything for you and your family to eat. That's going to be a sad situation. However, looking down the road, 3, 4, 5 years from now, let's say you start now and you start getting trees. Even if you have a small backyard like I do. What if you started getting trees now and you just started planting them around the perimeter of your yard? Or you just started planting them in your yard, period. Doesn't matter. Well, that's one less place you got to grow grass. I mean, you got to cut grass. You may have to weed whack around it, maybe put some mulch around it. But hey, that's one less place that you actually have to cut the grass. So men, hey, that's one way of beautifying your landscaping and not having to do a whole bunch of work. Wink, wink. So, another thing. Let's say 3, 4, 5 years from now, we're going through that situation, but those trees that you got now and that you started nurturing and caring for now are starting to produce massive amounts of fruits. Well, guess what? You eat all you can and can the rest. So I don't see anything but upsides to, especially now, growing corn and tobacco and cotton and all that kind of stuff. Some of that is beyond some of us. That's why I started gardening 3 years ago, because I knew that was a skill that you had to learn and you had to cultivate and you had to get good at. Am I good at it yet? I'm okay. Am I doing some things that's gonna make me better? Yes. But with a tree, it's kind of hard to kill a tree, especially once it gets in the ground and it gets a root system. That tree is gonna just take off on its own by itself. As a matter of fact, every year you're gonna have to go out there and prune that tree. And first, it starts with the little snips. You can just snip here and there, and you can prune it. Couple 2 or 3 years, you gotta take a saw, and you gotta prune that joker. Okay, just is what it is. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this will help you move in the right direction of growing some of your own foods, because whether the food shortage is real or not, whether the grand solar minimum happens or not, in my opinion, we're already in it. Or maybe it's just a solar minimum. And all that means is that the sun is not producing as much light and heat as it did in years past. That's really all it is. Which affects the growing season. It affected the growing season this year. Okay? Tomatoes are easy to grow. I usually do a tomato challenge and I'm like, hey, grow tomatoes this year. Our tomato challenge, we had about 15, 20 people that did the tomato challenge this year. And now I have experience growing things. Out of everybody, I think maybe 3 or 4 of us were actually able to grow tomatoes. Now, like I tell you guys, I believe in doing things in mass amounts. So don't just grow one tomato plant if you're looking to have tomatoes. Grow multiples. Don't just grow one stalk of corn. You got to grow multiples. All right, it's reaping and sowing. You got to sow before you can reap. That's just the way it is. So, having said all of that, I thank you guys for being here. I'm going to try something again. Hopefully it'll work. I'm not sure if it will or not. But, little Tia, take us home.
Subscribe to our channel.
Subscribe to our channel. Yes, subscribe to our channel. Say it again.
Subscribe to our channel.
Yes, subscribe. Hopefully you guys can hear that and see that. I'm not sure if you can or not. It'd be real. I'm gonna watch the replay. It's gonna be really neat if that is actually working. That just gave me a whole different perspective of things that I can do on live, and just bring a better experience to you, the viewer, and for us, the folks that are doing it. Okay, we're always trying to do things different, trying to do things better. Thank you for being here. Subscribe, like. Hit the bell notification, but when you hit the bell notification, make sure you subscribe. You hit the bell notification and hit the all button so you can get all of the uploads from Plant-Based Homestead Prepper. We are trying to get the news out. We're trying to get the word out that it is important that you prep. Do it in an easy and a fun and a common sense. Take a common sense approach to it, and remember, I like this saying that Prepper Nurse 1 says. He said STD, one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. And I didn't make that up. I got that from Prepper Nurse 1. And I like that because if you do it in that order and you just methodically and religiously just take one step at a time, do one thing at a time, one day at a time, boom, you will accomplish great things. And that's with anything. That's not just with prepping. That's with anything in your life. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you, Jennifer appreciates you, and our family appreciates you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. You guys take care. Have a blessed day.